What's up? Thanks for clicking on this video. The Minnesota Twins have reportedly signed Carlos Santana to a one-year, $5.25 million deal. Let's talk about this thing. I'm not real thrilled about this. Santana wasn't really a guy on my radar, but I get the fit. We'll talk about that and how he impacts the roster here. What I have up is Fangraphs Roster Resource, their projected lineup and bench for the Minnesota Twins. The main kind of fallout here is that Jose Miranda goes from being like a platoon bench bat to being off the active roster. This pushes Miranda off the roster. I don't really see any reason why you would carry Kirilloff, Santana, and Miranda. So if those two guys are healthy, I don't think Jose really has a path to playing. I love Jose Miranda. I think, I'm willing to give him a free pass for being injured all last year. I understand, though, that Carlos Santana, one, is a very good defensive first baseman, which you can't say about really anybody else in the Twins organization right now. And number two, he's hit lefties. He's a switch hitter, but he's hit lefties well. So, he comes in as a pretty natural fit. It's not like Joey Gallo last year when I was like, why would they get another left-handed hitting corner outfield first base guy? I was very perplexed by that fit. I didn't think that would go as poorly as it did, but I didn't really get the fit there. I didn't understand why they would put him into this lineup. Santana's a guy you can understand. And also, he does offset some of what you lost with Jorge Polanco. In terms of he has a good approach, he makes a lot of contact, he draws walks. But, let's turn the tables here and imagine one of our AL Central rivals just signed Carlos Santana and he projects to be an everyday player. I'm thinking good. Good. You've just plugged a guy who has no upside into your lineup. I'm not even sure you can count on him being league average, to be honest. And he's going to eat up a bunch of plate appearances and close the door for guys who have higher upside. Yeah. So again, I get why he was targeted by the Twins. I get the fit. I don't like that. I'm really worried he's not going to. He's done. We'll take a look at some numbers here, but again, I think first base wasn't really specifically a position I was worried about. Yes, they needed a guy who could hit lefties. I think they needed another bat, but it didn't really need to be first base. You got Kirilloff, you got Miranda, Junior Severino, who led the minors in home runs last year. He is all or nothing. You don't know what you really have there, but he factors in there as an option. I think even Chris Williams, who's really good for the Saints, factors in as someone you could have turned to as well. I don't think Edouard Julien's career as a first baseman is done just because Polanco's gone. I think, if Brooks Lee hits well and he comes up, Julien might be primarily playing first base still this season, potentially, if everyone stays healthy. I think they had a lot of other options. You could probably have Ryan Jeffers play some first base on his off days if you think his legs could handle it. So there was just a lot of other things you could do at first base, including bring Donovan Solano back. I've not mentioned Donovan Solano once this offseason, so it's not like I've been someone pounding the table to get Donovan Solano, get Donnie Barrels back. I appreciate what he did for the Twins last year, but take a look at this. This is the last 3 seasons combined. Donovan Solano's been a better overall hitter by quite a bit than Carlos Santana, and he has been better against left-handed pitching than Carlos Santana. I like to look at platoon splits over multi-year samples because single-year samples are usually so small. And Donovan Solano is just barely 115 WRC plus versus a 114 WRC plus for Santana. And Donnie Barrels can play second, can play third. Now, you hope you don't need him at second or third the way the Twins are currently built, but at least that avenue is there. Carlos Santana can play first base, period. And Solano's a guy you paid $2 million. And I don't think you would have to pay him much more, if any more than that, to come back. And $5.25 million for Santana, it's not huge, right? But this is a Twins team that is pinching pennies right now. This is a Twins team that has a tight budget. Any money spent is able to be scrutinized under this budget, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the way it was. But even spending $5.25 million here, it better be on something that is functional and you need and that's going to work. Because I don't know how much, we'll see. We got some more TV news I haven't talked about yet, but I don't imagine that this late in the game it's going to make a huge difference for Derek Falvey and what he has to work with, but I don't know. Maybe it does. Hard to speculate, but I still think I still think there's a lot of other ways about going about addressing this. Looking more at Carlos Santana, over his past 6 seasons, he's really only had 1 year that he was above average for a first baseman / DH. That was in 2019. His last 4 years, 101 WRC plus, 101, 81, 99. Keep in mind that last year a league average first baseman had a 111 WRC plus, and a league average DH had a 105 WRC plus. So, sure, he's been a percentage point above league average the past 2 years, but that's still worse than league average for a first baseman or a DH. He draws walks. That's a big skill he's always had. He's always been really good at that. But his on-base percentages are not that impressive. They're all under 320. He had a on-base percentage below league average last season, did Carlos Santana. Some of the counting numbers are great because he got 619 plate appearances. And I'll give him credit for that. He's been remarkably healthy over his career. So, maybe I'm going to talk about aging just on the next slide here, but maybe there's something to that. This guy's stayed really healthy. He must take care of himself really well. So maybe there's some hope that he sort of avoids the aging curve, but oh man, do these baseball savant sliders not give me any confidence that that's a thing. He had a turnaround year. His overall production was better in 2023 than it was in 2022, but look at some of these metrics from Baseball Savant. Yes, he's still, again, the approach is great. He doesn't chase a lot. He doesn't swing and miss a lot, draws walks, minimizes strikeouts. That's great. But how long is that going to be really a translatable skill if he's not hitting the ball hard, which is not happening? Huge drop-off in his average exit velocity, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, and the sweet spot percentage was bad anyway, but those other ones, huge fall off. Again, I think these numbers are really scary in terms of a guy entering his age 37 or 38 season, whatever it is, getting up there in age. He could just completely fall off a cliff. He was good last year. If he produces like he did last year, he fits in. Again, if he hits like he did against left-handed pitching. But I don't think there's any kind of guarantee that you can feel confident that he's going to do that. And then here's a handful of other free agents that are still free agents out there. The top group of numbers is how they did against left-handed pitching last year. The bottom group of numbers is how they've done against left-handed pitching the past 3 seasons. Much like with Donovan Solano, none of these guys I'm like pounding the table and saying, we should get these guys, or all these guys would have been much better than Carlos Santana. But one, all of these guys can play more positions than Carlos Santana can. 2, I think most of these guys would be cheaper than Carlos Santana was. And they all hit lefties about as good or better. So I don't know. I don't love it. I can't say I hate it. We'll see what else the offseason brings. I know it's already February, so it seems crazy to say this, but there's so many free agents still available. There's so many trades that are going to go down, I think. And we know Falvey's going to be one of the last really active GMs. So we'll see how the bigger picture comes together. I wouldn't be completely shocked if this was the last move they make, but I don't expect that to be the case. Now the two free agents that I would pound the table about, I didn't include on here. And that would be JD Martinez and Jorge Soler. I think those guys would just be great in the middle of this Twins lineup. Defensively, there's some fit concerns, sure. But maybe the Twins didn't have enough money to sign those guys. I think that's completely possible. With how much they are limiting the payroll right now, it's completely possible that just signing one of those 2 guys wasn't even an option. Maybe they still sign them. I don't know. We'll see, but that's what I'm interpreting at the moment, that maybe those 2 guys just weren't options right now. So, Carlos Santana, I get the fit. He also seems like a good dude. He's been around forever. I'm rooting for him. I hope this works out. I'm still a Twins fan at the end of the day. So I hope I look bad months down the road when we look back at this video. I hope, oh man, I was really an idiot on this one. But I'm not confident. I'm not confident in this. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see the Twins do from here. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll talk again soon.